There are increasingly more episodes of intense precipitation in Norway. The chaos of snow that hit the capital Oslo this week is just a taste of what Norwegians have in store, according to a climate researcher. Public transport and infrastructure nearly collapsed in large parts of southeastern Norway on Wednesday, January 17th due to the snow chaos. All train traffic stopped. All buses in Oslo and the neighboring municipality Bærum were cancelled for a period of time. The same applies to all air traffic at Oslo Airport. In the long term, climate researchers expect that there will be less snow in the winter as temperatures continue to rise. However, there could still be more days of snow chaos in the future, according to climate researcher Erik Kolstad at the Research Institute Norse and the Bjerknes Center for Climate Research. The intensity of precipitation has increased, and it's precisely this intense precipitation that creates the chaos these days. He points to the extreme weather event Hans that struck large parts of southern Norway in the summer of 2023, bringing heavy rainfall in a short period. Numerous records were broken at weather stations across southern Norway. And such intense precipitation in winter is expected to lead to more chaotic days. But this is not entirely new either. It's not like we've never had this type of weather before. The difference is that episodes of intense precipitation have become more frequent in Norway. But it is these intense precipitation episodes that have increased in frequency in Norway. Kolstad points out that it's a problem that climate change is not considered when building infrastructure in Norway. Unfortunately, there's a general trend in Norway of constructing infrastructure and buildings that aren't well suited for the climate. There are many examples of this. For instance, in Voss in western Norway, where a new cultural center was built in 2011. By 2014, it experienced its first flooding. You also have instances where houses are rebuilt near rivers, which are hit by floods several times before it's decided not to build there again. He points out that government authorities have faced criticism from the Office of the Auditor General of Norway for their inadequate focus on climate adaptation. Kolstad highlights the frustration among climate researchers who have long warned about this type of weather. We're somewhat behind schedule in Norway when it comes to truly taking this issue seriously. It's much cheaper to implement preventive measures than to deal with the aftermath of damage, Kolstad says. He also points to a steadily rising sea level. During this century, an average sea level rise of 10 to 50 centimeters is expected along the Norwegian coast. We will encounter challenges along the coastline. Unfortunately, it will become increasingly apparent that we should have reconsidered our choices when building so close to the shoreline. The chaos of snow that hit southern Norway on Wednesday elicits mixed feelings among climate scientists, according to Kolstad. In a way, it is predominantly negative. On the other hand, we hope that people become more aware. The more such incidents occur, the less you can pretend that no, it was just a one-off, he says. Because this is just a taste of what's to come. This issue of intense precipitation is not going away. It's a very clear trend, which is also easy to explain physically. More intense precipitation is simply a consequence of warmer air being able to hold more moisture than colder air. Public transport in Oslo is still heavily affected by snowstorms. Bus traffic in central Oslo was brought to a standstill, and the rest of the Norwegian capital's public transport network was affected by extensive issues due to a snowstorm on Wednesday. The public transport firm had canceled virtually all buses in central Oslo before resuming traffic later in the afternoon. After traffic resumed, lines continued to be affected by delays and services running less frequently. Ruter encouraged travelers to use trams and the T-bane to get around the city. If you are going to travel by bus, you should postpone your journey home until later. If you can travel by tram or subway, you should use it, Ruter's communications manager Sophie Brun said. Travel in Norway is heavily disrupted by heavy snow and strong winds. Despite the public being urged to use the T-bane and trams, both faced travel issues throughout Wednesday. T-bane Line 1 was closed on Wednesday, and westbound departures have been affected by an earlier halt to traffic. Line 5 was also closed between Majorstuen and Sognsvann. Eastbound departures were heavily affected by a metro train that broke down in a tunnel near Helsfyr. Ruter said delays were expected on all lines. All tram lines were in operation but at reduced capacity. The numerous issues with public transport in the capital have caused a surge in taxi fares. Some companies stopped taking orders due to the sheer volume. Ruter has said that its travel guarantee applied despite the weather. According to the guarantee, you are entitled to a refund of up to 750 kroner if you are more than 20 minutes late due to changes or delays in public transport. Flights from Oslo Gardermoen Airport were disrupted after the earlier closure. Delays in and out of Oslo Gardermoen will continue after the airport was reopened to air traffic following a 3-hour stoppage on Wednesday. Airport operator Helsfyr announced at 3:30 p.m. that it would slowly begin to resume flights to and from Oslo Airport after a 3-hour closure due to the weather on Wednesday. The airport was closed to air traffic, but not passengers, just before 1 p.m. due to poor visibility, and so snowplows could clear the runways. Flights would continue to remain disrupted as the airport tried to get air traffic to resume, Helsfyr said. An overview of all of the scheduled flights in and out of Oslo is available on Helsfyr's website. Heavy snowfall has caused travel chaos across southern Norway on Wednesday. Network operator Bane Nor cancelled almost all trains in and out of eastern Norway, including airport express trains, due to the weather. Public transport in Oslo was also brought to a standstill, with almost all buses cancelled, and extensive weather-related issues also affected the city's metro and tram network. In addition, motorists were asked by the Norwegian Public Roads Administration to stay off the roads. Heavy snow has caused problems across Bergen's public transport network, and travelers have been told to prepare for cancellations, delays, and detours on Friday. Travelers in Bergen have been told that more snow on Friday would likely pose extensive problems for Bergen's public transport network. Slippery roads have been reported in several places in the county, which is now causing some delayed departures. We therefore ask travelers to allow plenty of time, public transport firm SKYSS wrote on its website. Difficult driving conditions on certain sections can also lead to departures having to be cancelled at short notice. Also, be aware that when the roads are very slippery, the buses may have problems stopping at parking spaces on uphill slopes, it added. More than 38 centimeters of snow was measured in Bergen on Friday morning, the most snow the city has seen in January since 1987, according to meteorologists. An orange warning of up to 40 centimeters of snow was in place in the counties of Vestland and Rogaland on Thursday and Friday. Orange alerts are for serious weather situations and are issued when the Institute expects extensive consequences. Both buses and light rail have been disrupted in Bergen due to the weather. Certain stops and routes were not in operation due to the storm.